Hello, welcome to an all-new Marvelcast, Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Redeemer and Lumina. My name's Ashley Obley. Join me today, Ultimate Kira Marchant.
How many holes does everybody in this call have, you know?
7.
Is it bad that I was sitting there in the cinema after
Mentally going through your holes?
Mentally going through and going, no, that's correct.
I mean, technically your paws are holes, so I guess we have lots.
Lots and lots?
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Lots. Also joining us is Dylan Blight.
I have an extra hole. Try and guess where it is.
Is it a nipple piercing?
No.
You see him on the top to have a nipple piercing.
Never had my nipple pierced.
Damn.
Never had my nipple pierced.
Is it a piercing? Is that or do you just fucking...
Yeah, it's my piercing. Like, I got my ear pierced, so that counts,
true.
right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
On to this episode of All New Marvelcast, we are discussing Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Going full spoilers, if you haven't listened to one of these before. Just released in cinemas here in Australia. So let's just jump straight into it. But please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot, themes, any of the movie. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. With that said, let's jump to our discussion of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're at ex-con. How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
People still need help, Dad.
That's why we made this.
It's like a satellite for deep space, but quanta.
Wait a minute. You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now!
Directed by Peyton Reed, written by Jeff Loveness, based on Marvel Comics, starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline, Lilly, Jonathan Majors, Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas, Kathryn Newton, David Dastmalchian, William Jackson Harper, Katy O'Brien, Bill Murray, Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, along with Hope's parents Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, and Lang's daughter Cassie, go on a new adventure exploring the quantum realm that pushes their limits and pits them against Kang the Conqueror. Ciaran, what did you think of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania?
I wanted to like it. I just didn't. I don't know. I felt really weird going into this movie because I don't know if it's just the oversaturation of Marvel or just not really connecting with Ant-Man and Wasp currently.
Ciaran, it's been 3 months since we've had anything.
I know, but still.
We haven't done this podcast in so long.
No, you know what? I think I worked out what it is that this is so much like both of the past Thor movies in a very odd, specific way, where we're going to lots of different not planets, but new places that are highly fantastical and fictional, and we're going to meet lots of characters in that period. I just think this, for me, all of the characters except for the alien with the holes, I think most of the characters were forgettable. I didn't come out of this knowing...
Ciaran, the thing was he didn't have holes.
He did, but he got a holes. He got holes. But he was the only alien that really it left a good impression on me. I didn't know any of the characters' names by the end of it. At least in Ragnarok, you came out of it and you knew Korg and you knew that other guy. But this time... this time I just felt like I didn't get any connection with it, and I also just felt like the movie got in its own way a lot. Anytime they were about to do something cool or interesting, and this is especially the ending, I thought they shit the bed with the whole ending. Anytime that they looked like they were going to do something cool and interesting, they either undid it or swerved away from it at the last possible second and didn't do it. And I was just very frustrated by that, and I didn't enjoy this movie at all.
Dylan, what did you think?
Yeah, I didn't like it either. So I like the previous two Ant-Man films. This just is a very complete opposite direction. It's a very boring, not only looking film, but just lacking any of the substance, color, personality that the previous two films had. Paul Rudd's trying his hardest to add some sort of jokes into this, but the jokes aren't even well written, so it's just relying on Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd. The villain who we've seen previously in Loki, and he was sort of terrifying and interesting there, and left you wanting more. This time around, I'm like, dear Lord, please, can he never come back? He was so fucking boring. I don't know. I don't really you get more Michelle Pfeiffer in this, which is cool. She has some good scenes. That'd be a standout. There's one interesting sequence where there's a million Scots and whatever else. I guess that's the only sort of interesting. Otherwise, I was I don't know. I felt like this went for 4 hours. I didn't like it. No.
I will say that's where I differ. I do like Kang. I just find Kang very interesting, but I think they're going to have a problem with Kang going forward in the MCU. We can talk about that in a bit.
Yeah. I thought it was okay. I didn't dislike it, but I don't particularly have any strong feelings either way on this film, which probably is not the best place to be.
No.
I think like Dylan said, it is just tonally so different to the other two movies. The first two movies were, I would argue, comedies first, everything else second.
Mm-hmm.
There was much more it's funny that for a movie that is so colourful, it doesn't feel like it.
No.
There's a lack of colour in it. It definitely has that feel of being in the volume or whatever process, or just in front of a lot of green screens, because there's just a lack of texture to, I guess, the world. There's so many interesting ideas and aliens chucked out there, but it's all just rapid fire thrown at you that there's nothing that really sticks. Comedy wise, I got a couple chuckles. MODOK was quite amusing to me. I know about you guys.
I thought MODOK was interesting, actually. I thought MODOK being... I know it was rumored that MODOK was going to be Darren Cross, and I really liked that change, and I liked that as part of the character. Once again, his end, I thought I didn't like. I didn't like him coming in to save the day, and I'm not a dick and whatever. I was I kind of wanted MODOK to be... I feel like there's a problem now in the MCU that they can freely kill off a character like that, but they've now got the multiverse that they can bring back that either MODOK in that form in a different way somewhere. And so it's kind of makes him dying or makes any of that just meaningless. I feel like that's my biggest problem, is anytime I thought this movie could have been serious and could have had some darker elements, the script almost went, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. We're Ant-Man. We're supposed to be funny. We're supposed to be a comedy. We can't have serious themes in here. We can't start exploring some kind of deeper and darker themes. So, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, but I don't know. Just there was they tried their best. There was a fun. They had Bill Murray in this movie. Remember, he was in this movie at one point.
I wonder how much he got paid for that, because
so much money, I would imagine.
And he got billing. He got proper and Bill Murray billing.
He's got a poster.
Yeah.
I
know it's, and this is where, actually, minor point, how many after credit scenes were there? Were there 1 or 2?
2.
Okay, I missed the second one because my phone died and I couldn't look up if there was a second one, and I didn't want to wait through the credits.
Of course there was going to be a second one. It's
no,
the first...
because No.
It's the first film in Phase 5.
So does someone want to give me a rundown of the second one? What was the second one?
We'll get to it. We will get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it.
You've had to wait this long. Guess what, motherfucker?
Wait longer?
You've been waiting
Good.
5
Good.
minutes.
No, that's fine. But I desperately wanted another scene once the ants were involved of Bill Murray being like, damn, that's an ant? Like, just as like a funny bit.
Okay, here's a spoiler. Bill Murray is not in the second post-credits.
Oh my god, okay. Fuck it now.
Unless it's a post-credit. No.
I'll tease you. I liked the second post-credits.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Cool, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, obviously we opened the film with Scott basking in the afterglow of saving the universe, apparently. He's released his book, which apparently is coming to real stores. You can be able to read it, even though they spoiled the ending, so I don't know why you would
Here's the funniest line in the movie. When he's got the audio tape going and he like just turns it up, he's like, then I met a raccoon. I was just happy to be meeting a talking raccoon.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What an author.
I mean, that's fun. Obviously we set up Cassie, who is now being played by Kathryn Newton, which is the whole thing, who is an activist.
Did anybody find her highly unlikable at the start? Like,
Well, because she's not doing what we're obviously attached to.
No,
Paul
it's
Rudd
not even that. Well, it kind of is attached to Paul Rudd. I just felt very weird about the amount of like jabs or shots she was taking at Paul, at fucking Scott, that's the one. At Scott, and there was no reaction from Scott. Really, like there was no.
Well, he doesn't have.
He knows he deserves it. He knows he's.
But at
knows
some point, you've
does
gotta
he
be
deserve it?
No, does he deserve it though? Like even sat
He
there
got stuck in the quantum realm.
Yeah, 100%. And even sat there at the table, nobody was like being like the fuck. Like some people were pulling faces, but nobody was being like, "Whoa, let's fucking back the fuck up a little bit." Like I don't know, it was very. He just kind of sat there and took it the whole time, and I was just like, I don't.
That's because he doesn't want to fight with his daughter. Because he's missed so much time. I think. Yeah, he wants to be all buddy with her. He doesn't want to be antagonistic.
I don't know.
I will say, I think this film desperately missed the supporting cast of the last two movies. Whether it's his crew, or Cassie's mum and her partner.
Yeah.
I think obviously they added so much comedy to these movies that
it missed just being
missing.
grounded, right? Like even though the last movie, even though Ant-Man and Wasp had quantum realm stuff, it was still highly grounded in the real world and in a smaller scale story. Where this is like
San Francisco.
It's
the whole movie took place in San Francisco.
Yeah,
technically,
both of them.
Yeah,
just a very small version of San Francisco.
Sorry, that was a yawn I've been holding in for the last 4 years watching this movie.
Like it just yeah, I don't. Yeah, nah.
So obviously we also set up that Janet doesn't want to talk about her time in the quantum realm. But that certainly turns when it's revealed that Cassie has been creating a device that will contact the quantum realm. She was reading books those 5 years about quantum realm.
So, the whole stuff about Cassie I find very flimsy. Just she was reading books about the quantum realm and she's built this thing and
now she's smart.
And also she has a suit, but Hank, for whatever reason, hasn't put her through the rigorous training to learn how to use the suit or be good with the suit. She's just been given the suit and been told, "You do you, champ." I just
she's just got the timing down wrong, Ciaran. Jeez, harsh critic.
I'm just. It's
why are
very
you picking
hard.
Why are you picking on the female in this?
I'm not picking on the. This isn't a pick on the female. My God, Ashley Hobley. It's a more pick on Hank, right? So unless Hank is that softened up with the return of Janet and with.
Oh yeah, he is totally soft.
Like, being a pseudo grandchild, like. He's just comparing that to the rigorous training that Scott went through before he could even start using that suit. Like, it just feels a bit.
Well, he did. That's a bit different. They were training Scott to infiltrate like a secret base. She's just having it for shits and giggles. I'm sure Hope didn't go through the same thing that that Paul Rudd that Scott did.
No, but
in between
Hope
movies.
was always knew how to use everything. Like,
I don't know. But anyway, they get sucked into the quantum realm. What? Who would have guessed?
oh my god.
They also get separated, which is I think an interesting key point.
I think it's a bad point.
Yeah, this is a key point in why this movie maybe doesn't work is that they're separated for so long. Especially there's that ending moment of Hope saving Scott. And they haven't barely interacted all movie.
Yes! No, I was thinking this. I'm like, you're having this lovely moment, and I'm like, other than like the couple minutes we had at the start, like you guys haven't interacted like on a base level at all.
Relying on the relationship built up on the two movies. But yeah, obviously we get Cassie and Scott, stuck together, getting attacked by suns and giant bacteria before they get taken by locals and forced to drink red goo, because red goo is what's the babble fish of this universe?
The
Is that
MacGuffin.
right? No, the babble fish that helps you understand what everybody's saying. Meanwhile, Janet's freaking out that they're in the quantum realm because she's been hiding secrets. And she takes them to meet her old friend, her old rebellion buddy, who quickly turns on her in Bill Murray. And they steal a ship that somehow Hank figures out how to drive very quickly. It's like
just
pushing a bicycle.
Yep, you just gotta put your arm right in there.
Yep, so Scott and Cassie meet the locals. They get attacked because a terrible hunter's coming to get them. And guess who the hunter is? It's MODOK, who happens to be Darren Cross. Oh, what? I did like how they did the flashback thing, and Scott fully interrupts him, and it's just trying. He's got baby legs.
I love it how it's just a microphone. They don't even make a big thing about it. Scott's eyes keep flicking down to the baby legs and back up while they're talking, just constantly. Which it was funny.
Oh, there's so much fun. Even just the scene of him getting his put into the suit.
Oh, his
little butt crack. Ridiculous. Yeah, so MODOK's a thing. How do we feel about, obviously that is a very comics accurate depiction of MODOK. Does it really work in live action? With the massive face?
I liked it.
I liked it. I thought it worked better than I thought it was.
It's very grotesque.
Yeah.
But
it looks weird, but it's supposed to look weird, so I don't really care. So, yeah.
He's also interesting that he's bald when the MODOK has a lot of
but
hair.
He was bald in the...
he was bald in the movie, so there's nothing you can do.
It'd be kind of weird if all of a sudden he had hair.
I'm kind of annoyed they killed him off, because I think MODOK is a fun, stupid character from the MCU. I would have happily had hang around.
And this is the thing, I don't think they killed him off, though. They'll just multiverse him.
Yeah, but...
I mean, if everybody loves him, he'll be like, oh, multiverse.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really love him. I hate I hate this narrative of my man's killed, countless people. Don't be a dick. I'm like, well, he's past being... I think he's, his dick, you don't open the door for someone, you're rude to people at checkouts, murders potentially thousands of people. We're probably into a different character. Don't be a dick. Moral of the movie. Anyone's redeemable, even the worst side.
It's not too late to not be a dick. It's the message of the movie. Look forward to seeing that gif everywhere when that comes out. So then we meet Kang. It's Jonathan Majors. It's the He Who Remains from the Loki.
Can I just get one of my least favorite things?
What?
Top of my head straight over this. The amount of times I had characters say, him, it's him, or him. We're afraid of him, the guy, the man. We're afraid of him, the conqueror. It's him, and then they're finally like, "Oh, his name's Kang." I got so sick of people just not saying "Oh, we'll take it to him. We'll take it to them. Oh, he's coming for them." I'm like, "Fuck off, Jesus Christ!"
Disney
Wow.
/
I
Marvel.
bet you were walking around saying Voldemort all of the time.
Oh my god!
It's like just say
Oh my
his fucking
God.
name. Why'd they make such a big
I
deal
think-
out of?
It feels like the writers were just at war with the fact of, do they rely on the fact that people have watched Loki? Like, do they
No,
operate?
I think
Or
if
understand
this was-
comics.
If this was a real life scenario, someone would have just said his fucking name. Why wouldn't a character just say, "We'll take him to Kang"?
All they needed to do was have
Just
Michelle
saying dumb
Pfeiffer
dialogue.
say the name earlier, slightly in the movie,
Yeah.
cut away before she starts explaining everything, and then anybody else can just say Kang. You've got the big, tense Kang kind of situation. Anybody now, it's fair game. Everybody can fucking say it.
This is my biggest problem with this movie. I think the script's just bad.
I
Script
agree.
is terrible.
I
also think there's many moments where the movie just goes for, well, this doesn't really make sense, but it's sort of cooler, so we'll do it that way. The one moment where I was like ready to fucking throw something at the screen was when I was getting really annoyed. And I'm like, just want to turn to the person next to me and be like, you guys see this shit? It's when fucking Kang goes through the portal with Michelle Pfeiffer after leaving the rest of them stranded at the place right before the ants come up, and he walks through the portal with her, and it cuts to a scene where he's sitting in the throne and she's brought in by 2 guards, and then he shoos the guards away. I'm like, dude, you literally just walked in there with her. And it's like the scenes were just written out of order, and they wrote that scene first where it's like, he brings her into the room, and then they went back and changed it so he just like goes through this portal. I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. This is dumb.
Because time isn't
Well,
linear.
yeah.
Time,
there was probably other scenes in between.
No, they just wrote them backwards and could be fucked doing a second draft. They're just like, nah, fuck it, it'll be fine.
So it was, then Michelle Pfeiffer explains her relationship with Kang. She saved him. He has a cool spaceship. That he has a power source that they need to make work. They do. She touches the ship. She sees into his mind, realizes he's been mass murdering a bunch of timelines and shit. And she's like, nah, I can't condone this, even if you're going to take me home. And enlarges the power source so he can't use it. I think that's a pretty smart move. Pretty interesting MacGuffin.
Also, minor point at this point, I actually like his suit. Like, I actually like the costume design of his suit. They didn't shit the bed on it completely because it looks.
What with the blue visor?
The blue visor, I was like, oh, it's a blue visor. That's why his skin's blue. Not okay, sure, but okay, maybe not just the visor, but like the rest of him looks good because I've never been a fan of Kang's costume design anyway in the comic books.
It was a lot less fuchsia than I.
Yes, yeah.
Than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, that's her secret. And now Kang wants her or needs Pym particles so he can shrink down the power source so he can use it to power his ship so he can go back to the multiverse because he's been exiled by somebody into the quantum realm.
It kind of doesn't make much sense to me why it was still intact enough that they just needed to shrink it back down because
science, Kieran.
Because when she embiggened it like broke and there was like the rings got all out of place and everything. Like,
can I also just take us? Can we take a second and try and wrap our head around the timeline here? So there's he who shall not be named or whatever, or who remains or whatever is he who. What's his name? I don't know. Whatever.
He who
Kang,
remains. Yes.
He who remains. Kang and Loki, who says that. So he created one timeline. He went around and killed all the other Kangs, which is the same thing that this dude's saying, except for it's a different Kang. It's not the same Kang, even though he's saying he was doing the same thing that the other one achieved, but that one achieved it and only made it so there was one timeline. And then Loki kills him, so then all the timelines become unbound. So now you've got this Kang going around killing all the other Kangs. Maybe he would end up being the Kang we saw in the other Kang, but he gets stopped, and then he's jettisoned into the Quantumania verse by all the other Kangs who are experimenting with multiversal stuff, and this Kang wanted to stop them. So really, in my mind, I'm like, this isn't the same Kang from Loki, but it could have been he could end up being that Kang.
Dylan is pretty clearly a variant version of the He Who Remains.
Just we're down.
This is the problem. This is the problem I think they're going to have with Kang. because I just think
it's all timey-wimey
it's
bullshit.
all timey-wimey. And if it's like we've already witnessed Kang be defeated by a bunch of ants and Ant-Man by him, and they
were highly advanced ants.
Okay, they were highly advanced, but we have now watched Kang be defeated. So, future variants of Kang, the audience now knows, oh, we can defeat him. He's not a problem. Whereas Thanos, he was always like fucking unstoppable. Like he was.
Well, he didn't fight anybody. That was the problem. He just showed up. It was like at the end of the movie.
But even
where's my gauntlet?
The first time we physically see Thanos interact with an Avenger, he beat the shit out of Thor. He beat the shit out of the Hulk. So badly.
I mean, he was beating the shit out of
that
Ant-Man.
Well, yeah, but then Ant-Man...
It's fucking Ant-Man. It's Scott Lang.
It's Scott
I could
Lang.
beat the shit out of Scott Lang.
You. It was Ant-Man. He beat the shit out of Scott Lang without any of his powers, just punching him. And then...
Bit of a Creed 3 preview there, I felt.
Beat the shit out of him, and then he's been defeated now. So the audience now kind of goes, oh, well, he's beatable.
Yeah, with a bunch of giant ants.
My thing of this is, so we're about 2 years away from the Avengers Kang Dynasty or whatever the fuck that movie's
Apparently.
called. I presume it'll just be older Kangs.
I assume so.
I assume it's just like Kang Dynasty is just older Kangs teaming up. So this is what I think the idea is. This is what one Kang. This is how much of a threat he was. Imagine like hundreds of them teaming up. That's the.
Yep. So anyway, Kang's like, hey, I need you to shrink down this power source. And if you do, I'll let you take your daughter back. Scott goes in to the power source, tries to shrink it down, but, it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work.
You need to fire one bullet.
One of them wasn't enough.
Yeah.
One of the shrinkers wasn't enough.
That makes sense.
Such a big death.
Luckily, Hope Van Dyne shows up.
You have skipped over the whole sequence of millions of Scotts, except for the one Scott in a Baskin and Robbins, which I get it was for a joke, but
I
at the same
assume we're
time...
going to talk about it again in a second.
Okay, go for it.
But, yeah. I mean, it was probably the most visually impressive sequence in the film. Yeah, so they shrink it down. And Kang's like, suckers, I'm taking this for myself, and then he just beats them up. Because, he is a beast. Luckily, Hank's ants that he had an ant farm at the start of the film. They got sucked in the quantum realm. Apparently, when they got sucked in the quantum realm, they experienced thousands and thousands of years within seconds and developed an advanced society.
That's the movie I wanted.
I know socialism is I know socialism is a loaded word, but we could learn to think from these.
I did laugh at that one actually. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it.
So now they have to go back and rescue Cassie and shit, and then they gotta go back. But it turns out Kang's not just taking his ship and going home. He wants to take his entire empire that he's been building. So he's got this giant base, so he could powering that up. But Cassie was able to escape, releases one of the local leaders that she met earlier, and they start a rebellion inside the building. Set a rebellion across the quantum realm, whatever.
I wish I got more of her backstory or something, but that actress did a good job at for whatever little she had. I felt.
Yeah, she clearly had some sort of physical presence.
Yeah. She felt
like a leader. So then we get a bunch of sequences of them fighting against Kang's army and trying to stop them from escaping. Lots of embiggening and shrinking and MODOK flying around trying to kill Cassie. She finally decides she's going to enlarge him. It's a last shot, and she's able to smash MODOK around a whole bunch. Evoking the Loki and the Hulk from the Avengers. And she tells him it's never too late to be a dick. Important lesson. So then Kang, after Scott breaks his rings that makes him so he can't escape. Kang comes out, starts murdering everybody. Just blasting everybody to smithereens. Yeah, and they get stopped by the futuristic ants. You know, they've got a force field going, and MODOK comes in, blows himself up so he can take the force field out, and all the ants come take him away. You know, and you think that's the last you're going to see of Kang. Yeah?
No, because I've watched the trailer.
Okay. And then we get MODOK's dying, you know? Very sad scene. At least he died in Avenger. You know? How he heard about Avengers, I don't know. Why he would want to be an Avenger?
No, Avengers were a thing. Ant-Man 1. Avengers
How do you know that Ant-Man's an Avenger?
Because of
Cassie's we overheard the conversation.
He overheard the conversation and stuff. Yeah.
That's right.
Here's my second most notable what the fuck moment that just annoyed me. Ready? Right here's where it fits in. They have Hope. No, what's the mom's name?
Janet.
Janet up in the room, right? And she's like putting together, she's like, we're going to activate the little machine. And she says through the communication device to them, you know, little walkie-talkie says, hey, get up here. We only got one shot. We've got one opportunity to get out of this. And then old mate reading the rebellion walks up and says, go do it. It's fine. We'll continue. To which I go, you don't have one of those in your ear. How the fuck did you hear that?
Okay. Yeah.
Wait. Was it William Jackson Harper?
He didn't say anything. You heard it says, she says the thing. They look at
No,
each
but
other.
was it William Jackson Harper who said go? Right?
No, it was her.
It was her?
You know what?
The fucking script is
remember.
written in a bubble. I swear to God, it was driving me up the wall. I usually forgive little sins like this, but I'm going fucking, it's doing my head in.
Alright, so yeah, Janet's set up some sort of portal to get them all to escape. Everybody goes through. Just when Cass is about to go through, Scott pushes her through because out of nowhere, Kang comes flying in, crash tackling. He's all beaten and bruised and missing all his equipment. But then, he gets into a fist fight with Scott, smashing his visor so he can't shrink because his helmet's broken. And they get to a fist fight. I would not want to be in a fist fight with Jonathan Majors, that's for sure. No. So Paul Rudd gets his ass kicked. And then we get the classic line from the trailer. I don't have to win. We just have to make sure we both lose.
I hate everything from this point onwards. Like, with a passion.
Yeah, so then Then suddenly Hope comes flying in, shoots him a bunch of times. He falls into the power source and gets sucked into it, and he dies.
Well, we think. We're pretty sure.
Well, they're pretty sure. Other people are pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So then, the portal closes behind them, and they're like, "Oh no, they're stuck in the quantum realm forever." Oh well, I'm sure they'll enjoy spending a nice life together. Then 5 seconds later, Cassie builds a portal.
Yes! I was so angry! I was like, oh, cool. We're going to get a section of Scott Lang and Hope being stuck in the Quantumverse. Cool. Maybe this means we'll bring in another Ant-Man to be Ant-Man and then we'll have it. And then the portal opened up behind them because Cassie beeped and booped as like she was from fucking 2000s hackers on the fucking.
It was a two-way radio, Kieran. It was a two-way radio.
Oh, but all of a sudden it can make a portal into the quantum. I was so mad. Mad because at this point onwards, they do interesting things. Like at first, I was like, "Oh, cool! Scott's gonna be fucking stuck. He's gonna sacrifice himself. He's gonna get fucking stuck." Hope comes in. Cool. They're gonna get stuck together. That's a bit different. Good because we've had two people already stuck in the Quantumverse. So that's cool. No, it's just.
I'm telling you, this script was written. They went up and saw KevBot in the head of his studio there, and they said to KevBot, "Hey, here's the script. We're doing this," and he said, "No, sorry, we're not planning this. We're not going to actually do the sequel, or we're not going to have a spin-off TV show of them there anymore. Can you rewrite that?" And the guy went, "I'll just add a portal."
Yeah. Or fucking Kev's like, wait, but we can have Paul Rudd in like the next team up movie, right? To be funny and stuff, right? Well, no, if he's stuck in the quantum realm, he won't be there. Well, no, you can't. No, we need him there then.
I mean, you could have just had a time jump, like in the real world. You know, you didn't have to make it seem like they did it that second.
It was instantaneous, so that was the worst part of it.
Yeah,
it was like she was instantly.
You don't do a montage of her her Hank and Janet trying to figure out how to reverse the thing. You know, you could still have the portal show up at the exact same time, but like, that was pretty rubbish. Yeah, so we get a closing segment of like Scott with his family, very much a mirror of the opening of the film, with him talking about his thoughts, massive inner dialogue, and then he has the sudden realization: what if by killing Kang, he brought about the end of the universe?
And I was like, cool, oh my god, alright, funny movie's gonna end with Scott Lang having a panic attack or anxiety, and it being the ramifications of dealing with Kang and the future possibilities of Kang, and then right at the last second, like, nah, it's fine. Don't stress.
Yeah, I mean, that is the most human thing that could be possible. It's the most human response possible, you know. Oh no, the whole planet's dying of carbon dioxide or whatever. Yeah,
dying of carbon dioxide?
I don't know, I couldn't think of the
Holy
words.
Shit.
You know? Global warming is happening all over the planet. That's fine. Elon Musk has got Twitter. Oh, that's fine. You know? All end of the world's equally end of the world prospects.
I feel like it's different though, because he is like the one and only person dealing with this problem, or really.
Also, I'm pretty sure it was Hope who shot him and put him in there, so I mean, it's really Hope's fault.
Yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. It was dealt with as, that's a problem too quickly, and I was like, oh,
no.
Okay.
And then the movie ends with him eating cake, and it's bad.
It is bad.
Yep. So yeah, that's the movie. So then we get 2 post-credit scenes. The first mid-credit scene is the Council of Kangs, I guess, would be the best way to describe it.
Is council spelled with a K as well?
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, I'm pulling it because the Council of Reeds was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you got a whole bunch of Kangs all looking very different. Except,
I hate
the main
design.
ones. You don't love the Pharaoh or the...
I didn't like the Pharaoh. I didn't like
You're like, what? What are all these wigs?
It's just, they were so bad. Especially the I guess the central one is like the, I guess you want to call it like Chinese dynasty styled, like emperor kind of Kang, and I was not into that. His beard looked terrible. He's like partially blue, but not really.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, I was not into it.
I was not into it at all. It was
well, they can't all be handsome, is what. Yeah.
That's not my problem. It just looks fucking weird.
Just look fucking weird. Just have them different variations
Well,
of Kang's suit and just normal Kang, you know? You don't need to be fucking...
When there's several thousand like there look to be at the end of this, you know? You got to differentiate them somehow. So yeah, there's a bunch of Kangs. They're like, hey, the humans are touching the multiverse. We can't let them do that. They're like, we're going to have a vote about something. I don't know.
After the same point, you're like, wait, were you guys just blind for Multiverse of Madness? Because, like, that shit happened and they were fucking around way more than Ant-Man was.
Well, it's interesting because they bring up the idea of incursions again. So, obviously, the multiverse has been fucked around with before. Is it set before Multiverse of Madness? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happens. Then, the second closing, second post-credit scene, we get, I want to say 1920s America.
Yeah.
Someone talking, like, giving it like a stage play presentation, talking about time.
You can tell it's Jonathan Majors from the, like,
yeah,
it's not like you can hear
it's not a surprise. It's Jonathan Majors. It's a guy who it's Jonathan Majors on stage talking about time and stuff, and standing in the crowd, going, "That's him, Loki." You know who's next to him? The guy that Owen Wilson plays.
Time Cop Owen
Mobius,
Wilson.
Mobius M. Mobius?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Like,
like,
he's
what?
like,
I thought
that's
you
the guy,
made
and-
him sound like a threatening dude. This is the old man with like graying hair and a mustache. He's like, nah, that's him.
No, he's like, he doesn't look that scary. And then like,
Yeah.
he's like, he is, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. That's how the post credits end.
You know what? Kind of glad I didn't wait.
I
What?
liked it.
You missed out on the Loki TV show tie-in?
It's our first teaser for Loki season 2.
Maybe the first direct tie-in to a TV show that I can think of? Well, actually, no. There's the end of Black Widow leading straight into Hawkeye.
There's
I guess.
also all of Scarlet Witch in Multiverse
There's
of
also
Madness.
the entirety of the MCU.
No,
Also-
no, I'm talking about
also-
specifically post credits leading into a TV show.
Oh, you're being very specific now.
Yeah, I'm allowed to be very specific. All right, Ciaran, what was the most marvelous moment of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
No. No.
Quick question while I think. Is this the first movie of Phase 5?
This is the first movie. This is the first entry in Phase 5.
Okay, I just wanted to okay, the bar's pretty fucking low as we come in, but that's alright.
Can I? All right, I've got it. The 25 seconds that I thought Scott and Hope were stuck in the Quantumverse.
Okay,
That 25 seconds where I was excited and I thought that was very interesting and it was going to be an interesting to explore and all the possibilities that could come from that. That 25 seconds before I was killed by Hope, by that portal opening. Yep.
All right, Dylan, what's the most marvelous moment of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
When Scott gets a call and then he goes and gets Cassie out of jail, and then imply that she's like standing up for homeless people, and then also that there's like a rampant rise in costs of living, not only because that ties into how the real world's working, but because that's exactly what would happen if we did have a blip in real life. And also because there I could tell the director of photography actually had to do something, and it's all shot in real life and the real people seem like they're real things and stuff's happy there, and then we disappear into a void of an hour 50 minutes of cartoon characters and crayons.
I mean, they didn't really need to blame it on the blip. I mean, San Francisco's got like a pretty major.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
homeless
Like it's already
person
pretty
problem.
it's already pretty bad. So imagine how bad it would be, Yeah. So I appreciate that the tie in between real life events that they're like, we're going to hint on something. We're going to have like we're going to throw out a political idea. Go get him, boy. Go get an interesting idea. Go get him. Really far in the distance. Now come watch my CGI fuckfest. The rest of you dumb fucks in the theater, you mindless motherfuckers who only come watch these Marvel movies. Come on. You're gonna love it.
Ashley, what's your most marvelous moment?
I mean, it's got to be the possibility storm, I guess. That's
Uh-huh.
just not only the hundreds and hundreds of Scots and Hopes, but also the Scots that are enlarging and then getting ripped apart by whatever forces there, and like just chunks of Ant-Mans are falling all over the place.
You know something I just realized? That possibility storm that's showing every possible thing that Scott could have done there. That means one of those versions of Scott is from the best version of this movie.
All right. Any other closing thoughts on this movie? Are we going to get another Ant-Man movie?
Yeah.
Yes, as long as they get away from the Quantumverse for a bit and just like... you know what? Just in general, right? Marvel in general, let's go back to like... Earth-based shows for a little. I know we've got fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guess what, motherfucker?
We got
I think next movie is Marvel's, right?
The next movie is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, guess what?
That's space.
That's space. Guess what's after that? The Marvels, also in space.
We're in space.
I just want to let's narrow our focus a little bit for a while again. Let's just have a
listen. Ciaran, if it makes you feel better, the next TV show, Secret Invasion. It's people from space coming to Earth, so I mean that's like the other way around.
You know what?
I'll tell you what. When's that out? Can we have a release date? Because that's currently the best looking thing Marvel has coming up.
It doesn't have a release date. If I had to guess, it
like
is.
Next year, right?
It would be at the
it's
earliest the 26th of April.
Okay.
Because obviously,
no way. The next movie's got to be. Oh, it's a TV show.
No, I'm talking about Secret Invasion. They've already released a trailer. They're like pushing it. It's already on like the front page of
I don't
Disney
see
Plus.
I think they're just going to drop a release date and be like, it's out in like 3 weeks.
I'm saying that date because that's after The Mandalorian finishes airing.
Yeah, okay.
Which makes the most sense. But yeah, let us know what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
You know what's real nice? I will say just a random point, just a minor point at the end here. It's real nice coming into this and having my opinion not be the odd one out. Because sometimes when I don't like these movies, you guys are like, no, it's great. And I'm like, oh, shit.
No, often I don't like these movies. And I have to deal with you two being like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, I'm used to Ash for these. The day Ash is like, this Marvel movie was terrible, I'll be like, wow, they actually made one Ash hates.
They fucked up. They really did it.
They really went.
Okay, before we close. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania or the Eternals? Which one do you like better?
I would actually say the Eternals. Only just because I at least feel like it was trying. Now, it didn't achieve anything, but I feel like it was trying. This movie, I feel like, was written on a toilet, never shown to anyone, and then they filmed it in the back room on a green screen. Like, Eternals isn't good, but they tried. That's how I feel.
Oh, gosh.
Ciaran?
I'd have to go with this just because I like Kang and I do like that side of it. And I like Jonathan Major's performance, and I think his performance is better than anything that was on Eternals. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to
agree. His performance was better than anyone in Eternals.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Incorrect.
And more memorable than anybody in the Eternals.
No, you never have the best. I can remember the reaction.
I mean, Kumail's pretty great.
That table snapping, and then him being like, "It's from IKEA." That is better than any line in this movie.
What is this? I can't remember.
Don't remember that. Oh, when they go to old mate's house, Brian Tyree Henry's house.
Academy Award nominee. Yeah.
Academy Award nominee.
No clue. No idea.
Yeah.
Right. Look, the fact I can remember that scene 2 years later. Let's see if I remember.
I mean, it was in several ads, so I mean, yeah, I would agree with this one. I think obviously Paul Rudd doing his best with what he could. Jonathan Major is very good. I think Michelle Pfeiffer obviously getting an extended run in this film. She's very good as well.
They really fucked Evangeline Lilly over between this and the last movie, but she probably deserves it for all her anti-COVID.
I was about to say. Probably for the best.
That's what you get for saying not to get your vaccine, motherfucker. Your lines. Cut to Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, so let us know what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvelcast, the #1 Australian-made MCU podcast, leave us 5 stars. Anywhere can leave 5 stars. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show. And if you like this episode, and think it's thought it was over $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/supports. The next guaranteed project that we're going to be coming back for is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, releasing the 4th of May. So make sure you watch that. Join us next time for another All New Marvelcast.